Okay, hello everybody. My name is Meredith East-Powell, and I'm really excited to be here today to facilitate this presentation for QENDO. So I'm a clinical nutritionist and a yoga teacher. So I am a nutritionist specializing in women's health and a yoga meditation teacher here in Brisbane. And so you can find me, I'm practicing at Pair Exercise Physiology and teaching yoga in a Bliss Yoga in Balimba. So I'm also a health writer and I'm also a public health analyst. And I do also have a lived experience of endometriosis, and nutrition and yoga meditation. They've all been a key part of my management strategy for managing endo symptoms. So I have a few tips for you. So three key tips for anyone who is suffering from endometriosis. So my number one tip is to find support. So find support. So find your healthcare team. Find a team of healthcare professionals that really work best for you, and also finding support with supportive friends and family. And then, of course, there's not-for-profit organisations like QENDO who can really offer another layer of support. So they offer a mentor program, for example, which is really amazing. So point number two is to learn how to relax. And this can really help to improve symptoms. So learning through these mind-body techniques, which I'm going to touch on a few of these today. Point number three is to be informed. So really be your own advocate. Find information, reputable information from organisations like QENDO, have fantastic information on their website. So really educate yourself and be your own advocate, because you know your body best. So let's jump into yoga and meditation. So what is yoga? So yoga stems from Indian Vedic philosophy. So yoga is a way of life. It's not just a physical practice. And so one of the aims of yoga is to promote a healthy body and mind. And so this is achieved. And when we think about yoga, there's different forms of yoga. And so when we think about hatha yoga, this healthy body and mind is achieved through the physical postures, which are called asanas, and breathing techniques known as pranayama, and meditation known as dhyana in the hatha yoga system. And so, like I said, there are other forms of yoga, bhakti yoga, karma yoga, but really today we're going to be focusing on hatha yoga. So why would we practice yoga and meditation for endometriosis? So yoga helps to regulate the autonomic nervous system, and this helps to promote parasympathetic nervous system activation. So our parasympathetic nervous system is also known as rest and digest. So this is when everything in our body really works optimally, when this parasympathetic nervous system activation is happening, so we can digest our food properly. When we're in this state of sympathetic nervous system dominance, we're trying to we're in a state of stress. We're trying to run away from something, for example. So yoga really helps to bring us into that state of relaxation. And so as anyone with endometriosis would know, it is stressful having a chronic condition. So when we can relax, this is going to help. So yoga improves something called heart rate variability, so also known as HRV. So this is a measure of beat-to-beat variability of the heart. So heart rate varies between inhalation. So when we inhale, we get this sympathetic nervous system dominance. And then when we exhale, we see a parasympathetic nervous system dominance. So when we lengthen our exhale and we have a longer exhale than our inhale, this can really help to bring us into this parasympathetic nervous system state, or rest and digest. So HRV is really a reflection of our capacity to adapt to our environment. It helps to regulate our emotions, and it's really the key to our emotional resilience. So it's really a really helpful marker to see if we have if we have that emotional resilience to adapt to our environment. So the autonomic nervous system plays a key role in regulating heart rate variability. And the vagus nerve, one of the cranial nerves, acts as a conductor through the parasympathetic nervous system. And so some more reasons why yoga is beneficial for endometriosis. So group yoga classes can really help build connection. So it's connection with others and with the community. And I really see this as a group yoga teacher. So it really, especially if you are stressed or maybe you're feeling isolated, group yoga classes can really be helpful in bringing people together and facilitating connection. And so the practice of yoga asana, so the physical postures, breath work, and meditation really also helps to facilitate a positive relationship with the body. And this comes back to just the underlying principles, or there's a philosophy that underlies yoga. And so one of those philosophies is really self-compassion, or it's something in yoga called ahimsa, which is non-violence. And this really, when you translate this, it really means, no harm. So doing no harm to yourself with your thoughts and also to others, to your body. So it's treating yourself with kindness and self-compassion. It also helps to improve quality of life, helps with emotional regulation, as I touched on in the previous slide, and also mental health. And so there are many different types of hatha yoga, and there's various benefits. And so I'm just going to go through some of the different styles of the physical yoga practice. So vinyasa yoga is really great for muscle strength. It can improve heart rate as well, so increase heart rate. It also is great for mind-body coordination and balance. So that's the more sort of powerful style of yoga, which flows from movement to movement. You might find that you build up a bit of a sweat doing vinyasa, and so this is not always going to be available to someone with endo. It can be quite a strong practice. So I'd say if you're thinking of starting out with yoga, maybe vinyasa is not your place to start. You could try maybe a slow flow vinyasa, but this is just something maybe to build up to or to do when you're feeling quite well. So yin yoga is another style, and yin yoga is mainly consists of floor-based postures. It's like a deep stretch, and it promotes mindfulness, which I'm going to touch on shortly. It also promotes relaxation and helps to release tension. And so I would really recommend yin yoga as a regular practice. It's really, really nice. And I think available to many people who have endometriosis. And so restorative yoga, again, this is something, restorative yoga is really, again, quite accessible to someone who has a chronic condition. It's like a somatic meditation, like a body meditation. So we come into shapes with the body that are very accessible. They're very, very gentle, and it's really to help build relaxation. It's a really deep rest, and it is the gentlest form of hatha yoga. So we have also yoga nidra, and I'm going to go into yoga nidra in a little bit more detail in another slide. So yoga nidra supports deep rest, and it's kind of a bit more like a meditation. So you're just lying down in yoga nidra. And yoga nidra translates as yogic sleep. So next we have trauma-informed yoga. And so this is fairly new. This is a new form of yoga. And this is really beneficial for someone who has experienced trauma. Maybe you have PTSD, and maybe you feel like group yoga classes are just not available to you or accessible to you because of this. So trauma-informed yoga is really an adjunctive therapy for anyone who has, who has experienced trauma. So I wanted to take you through a breathing exercise today, or a pranayama. So there's lots of different types of breathing exercises or breath work. And one of these is called Nadi Shodhana, and this is one of my favorites. And this is, it's really alternate nostril breathing. And so we're going to have a little practice. I'm going to run you through this. And so the benefits are that from a yogic perspective, it's believed that it balances the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, and it increases calm and focus. It's really helpful for fatigue and great for stress and anxiety, and it helps to support the flow of energy, which we call prana in yoga, through the body. So we're just going to have a little practice. So you might want to just wherever you are. So if you're driving, this is not going to be doable for you right now. So just practice a bit later. But if you're seated or lying down, just allow your spine to be straight. And if it feels okay for you, you could soften your eyes down, close them down, or you could just gently focus at a point in front of you. And we'll just start by taking one hand. So I'm taking my right hand and placing my index finger, middle finger just between the eyebrows. And we're going to block the right nostril with the thumb and breathe in through the left. And then block the left nostril with your ring finger and breathe out through your right. Breathe in through the right. Block the right. Breathe out through the left. Breathe in through the left nostril. Block the left. Breathe out through the right. 2 more rounds. Breathing in through the right. Block the right, out through the left. Breathing in. Breathing out through the right. Beautiful. So you can do a few rounds of this. And yeah, like I said, anytime you're feeling stressed, anxious, or if you're just feeling a bit fatigued, wanting a little bit more focus, would recommend Nadi Shodhana. If you have a blocked nostril, that can be a little bit tricky. So you may want to try another breathing technique if that happens. Okay, let's keep going. So I want to take you through a few strategies for endometriosis management. So of course, this presentation today is more focused on yoga and meditation, but being a holistic health practitioner and a clinical nutritionist, I couldn't help myself but touch on something to do with diet. So just one point around diet, and there's no one size fits all when it comes to diet, but really a good rule of thumb for endo is to eat an anti-inflammatory diet to address any nutrient deficiencies. So for example, if you're deficient in B12, that could be contributing to your fatigue. So always look into and get your bloods checked by your doctor. And of course, address any gut issues as well. So breathing techniques, we just ran through Nadi Shodhana, but I have a few favorite breathing techniques. And one that I really like for fatigue is where we do 3 quick inhales and followed by 1 long exhale. So you can breathe out through the mouth there if you like. So for stress and anxiety, I think Nadi Shodhana is really nice, the breathing technique we just did, the alternate nostril breathing, or the physiological sigh. So the physiological sigh was made very popular by a neuroscientist, Andrew Huberman. So the physiological sigh is where we take 2 breaths in followed by 1 long exhale. So we can do the physiological sigh together. So breathing in and then breathing in. Slow exhale. And So the next point is to incorporate regular movement. So if you sit at a desk for long periods, it's really important just to promote blood flow, to just incorporate regular movement. So even if this is stretching, if that's all you feel capable of, then just incorporate that regular movement. Get up from your desk and do some stretching. Also, spending time in nature is so important. So we know that nature has benefits. So the research shows that it has mental health benefits. And it also shows that it has beneficial or benefits on the immune system as well. So spending time in nature wherever you can. So we want to optimize the circadian rhythm as well. So just some suggestions here. Don't look at devices before bed. Turn down the lights. This helps to increase melatonin to help you sleep. Have a routine. So have a bedtime routine and have a morning routine. So the body really likes to have this predictable routine where you go to bed and get up at the same time. And also early morning sun exposure. So this is really nice. It really helps to regulate your circadian rhythm. So some more strategies for endo management. So practice mindfulness meditation daily. So there's lots of different forms of meditation. So mindfulness meditation is just one that comes to mind because there is a lot of research on this. So start with 5 minutes early morning and then, or in the evening, and then gradually increase. So mindfulness can also be specifically tailored for pain. So I'll touch on mindfulness in just a moment. And then there's yoga nidra or yogic sleep. And I do have another slide, which I'll talk about this in a little bit more detail, but I love yoga nidra. It's really been quite a powerful tool for my own personal practice and healing journey. And then assess if you have adequate rest and play. So, what brings you joy? Can you do more of that and bring more of that into your life? So mindfulness. Mindfulness, I like to describe it as observation of the present moment without judgment. And so some of the benefits of mindfulness is that it reduces rumination. So your mind, when you're practicing mindfulness, you're constantly bringing your mind back to the present moment. And so there's formal mindfulness and informal mindfulness. So formal mindfulness is when we sit down to meditate. So you could sit or lie down to meditate. You don't have to sit cross-legged on a floor like a yogi. You could sit in a chair. It doesn't really matter. But you're constantly bringing your attention back to the present moment. And so herein lies the challenge. It's quite a simple concept, but it can be challenging to practice. But the more you practice, the better that you get, and the benefits then flow into your everyday life. So the formal practice of mindfulness is when we're sitting down practicing, and then informal is when we're just really present throughout our day. So we're practicing, for example, mindful eating. So we're being really present. We're not eating in front of a TV, and really taking our time to sit and enjoy our food and be in the present moment. So through mindfulness, it increases self-compassion and kindness. It is great for attention and focus control. It really helps to manage negative thoughts about pain as well. And so this is where it becomes beneficial for pain management, and it kind of increases the acceptance of unpleasant sensations. So when you experience pain, mindfulness is great if you're kind of at like a 5 or 6 level of pain. When we start to get up to that pain level of like 9 or 10, then it can be it's probably not going to be effective because you're going to be in so much pain. You're not going to really feel capable of practicing mindfulness. So definitely helpful for those that pain level that's kind of, maybe around that mid-level, so low to mid-level pain. So it helps to reduce reactivity and overwhelm. And it can do this because you're placing space between the stimulus and the reaction. And example of this, and again, I'm going to come back to mindful eating. I can't help but do this because I use mindful eating a lot in my nutrition practice. So if you feel like you eat food that maybe is not very nourishing for you, and you just have a thought, oh, I want that specific food, so maybe it's not something that's very nourishing, and then you can place space between actually how you react. So instead of just straight away having the thought and reacting, you maybe might pause for a few minutes and say, oh, am I actually hungry? Why am I craving this food? Why am I wanting this? Could I eat a bowl of veggies or a salad or something else that's more nourishing instead? So so it just helps you to place that space between how you react, so you become less reactive. So one of the other benefits as well is non-attachment. And this comes back to just the present, acceptance of the present moment, and just an understanding that really all emotions, all feelings are transient. So nothing is permanent. So lots of benefits when it comes to mindfulness. And there are lots of great resources out there as well on mindfulness. So I use mindfulness quite a lot. So as I said, in my nutrition practice with mindful eating, but also I teach it quite a lot in studio as well. So in my yoga classes. So definitely, and there's also resources online that you can use. So mindful.org, for example, is a great resource with guided mindfulness meditations. So on to yoga nidra now. So yogic sleep, or yoga nidra translates as yogic sleep. So it's also sometimes called non-sleep deep rest, but the term in yoga, it's a very, very old practice. Yoga nidra is the term in yoga. And so it's not exactly meditation. In yoga nidra, you're guided. So you're guided into a deep state of rest. And so it is almost sleep. And you might actually surf between feelings of, maybe sleep and wakefulness. So it's kind of this really deep state of relaxation with awareness. So when we're in this deep state of relaxation, it's believed that the pineal gland, which is in the brain, is activated, and that releases melatonin. And so melatonin has such a wide range of benefits, and we know that it's also an antioxidant. So research has been conducted on melatonin for endo, and it has shown some benefits as a therapy, an adjunctive therapy for endometriosis. And so some of the benefits of yoga nidra include deep relaxation, and like I said, you're kind of maintaining this level of awareness. So it is sort of like a meditation. And so it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, or this state of rest and digest. And it might promote feelings of relaxation through increasing dopamine. And it slows the electrical waves of the brain, helping to induce a state of relaxation. We see improved sleep and overall well-being, and reduced stress, anger, anxiety, depression, so benefits for mental health. Lower blood pressure, we see increased immune function and reduced inflammation, and also less tension, headaches and pain. So if you do suffer from headaches and migraines, yoga nidra can be really helpful. And so with yoga nidra, you do, like I said, it is a guided meditation. So you can find some guided yoga nidra online. So either through YouTube or some of the meditation apps as well. And yoga studios offer it as well. So coming back to the physical practice of yoga, so there's no one size fits all when it comes to yoga. And so with the physical practice, you really need to see what works for you. And so I've just popped some examples down of some asanas or postures that I feel like are accessible to most people. So the first one is child's pose. So you'll be able to look these up online and find them online. and can maybe give them a try at home and see how they work for you. And so I would highly recommend using props. So have some cushions, blankets there just to support your practice. So child's pose, this is a shape. I think most people might know what this one is, but you're basically come to a kneeling position on the floor, then bring your sit bones back down to your heels. And so your torso is in parallel with the earth. You'll get this nice lengthening through the spine, bringing your forehead down either to a cushion or down to the floor. And you get a nice release through the lower back here. It's very, very relaxing shape. You do get a gentle opening through the hip as well. So yeah, so really soothing pose, really lovely for anxiety. And so next we have, I've popped cat-cow here. So this is a little bit more dynamic. It involves movement, gentle movement. So you'll come to a tabletop position with this shape. So it hands and knees, and it just involves some spinal movement. So it really involves moving with your breath. So as you breathe in, you'll open your chest and open your shoulders and lift your tailbone. And then as you exhale, start to round through your spine. And so you just move through some of these shapes, just moving to your breath. Really nice for the spine as well, helps to improve mobility there. So again, you can find this online, this shape or this movement online to help guide you. Next, we have legs up the wall. So this is where you'll be lying down, and you can just come up to the wall and just literally just place your legs up on the wall, so you get an inversion. And legs up the wall is really beautiful for your nervous system. It's often used in restorative yoga, and sometimes at the end of a more intensive, say a vinyasa yoga class, it might be used at the end of the class. And it's really nice for insomnia and helping bring you into that state of rest and digest. So the next shape that I've listed here is butterfly pose, or we call it this in yin yoga, also known as Baddha Konasana in Sanskrit. So this is where you'll come into a seated position and just draw the soles of your feet together. And you can just gently draw the soles of your feet in towards your body. So your knees are splayed out to the side. So you can do this seated and then start to fold forward, lengthening through the spine and folding forward, or you can lie back on the earth, or you can place cushions along your spine. And this one is really nice. I find it quite beneficial for pelvic pain. So then we have a really gentle reclined or seated twist. So again, you could just come to a cross-legged seated position and then just gently twist your spine, and just turning from the belly button, never pushing into pain, making sure that it's just really gentle twisting, and then holding for a few breaths on each side. Or you could do this lying down, so bringing your knees to the chest and then popping them over to one side, and you could rest your legs or your knees onto props, onto cushions, for example. So again, you can just look these up online. There's plenty of resources to guide you through these shapes, or you're most welcome, of course, to come and join me at a yoga class. So this wraps up my presentation today. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was helpful. If you do want to make contact with me, please feel free to reach out. So I do have a website, and you can reach out to me that way. So it's just my name, Meredith East-Powell. You can also find me on social media. I do have an Instagram account, and again, it is just my name, Meredith East-Powell. So it was lovely to present to you today.